Sounds like a not my problem. Sounds like a how about you lock yourself in your house? If you can't think of women as human beings, how about you stay home? How about that one? I really hope every man who cannot think of a woman as someone who's not
Gang,
just a
gang,
sexual.
gang, gang. It's really 4K Trey, not sad. Slime ball, you hear me?
You're annoying. Anyways, yeah, again, so if you are a man and you're unable to think of women as human beings and you just think of women as sexual objects, I suggest you stay in your house.
Why don't you
And I
just walk
suggest that
around
you
naked
move.
then?
Huh?
Then why don't you just walk around naked?
So I think that like you don't have to walk around naked to prove a point.
But here's the thing. So you're talking about like, so you're thinking that men like just because of what a woman wears, she shouldn't like there shouldn't nothing happen to her, right?
Yeah, of
You're thinking
course.
okay, so that's just like saying bank robbers or robbers shouldn't rob people's houses. It's still gonna fucking happen no matter what.
So you do realize that little girls and little boys get sexually assaulted as children, right? What were they wearing?
Okay.
You do realize that
Like
men,
I said,
hold on one second. There were some men in, I believe it was India, about a year ago who gang raped a lizard. What was the lizard wearing? It
a
sounds like
lizard.
men. Yeah, a lizard. It sounds like
Hey,
men are the common denominator. It sounds like men are the common denominator in this issue of not being able to leave women, children, and other animals
them
alone.
niggas fucked the lizard, bro. That's fucking weird. Them Indian niggas are weird, bro.
So
Hey, and they stink and they worship cows. We don't give a fuck about Indians, bro.
okay, so I'm not gonna allow racism on my panel.
Oh well, here's a big ass dick for you then,
Oh
bitch.
my God,
Fuck
bro.
you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Brother, that is wow. Like, okay. I didn't mean to follow him. Fuck, I accidentally followed him. I did not mean to do that. I'll have to go and unfollow him. I accidentally followed him instead of clicking the disconnect button. Yeah, so that's crazy. That's really fucking crazy. I'm scared to let any of the other men up now, but we're gonna persevere and hope that that doesn't happen again. I'm gonna have my hand on the disconnect button at this point. Grind
If
hard,
you
what
don't
do you
want
have to
people
say?
seeing your ass, don't fucking have it out in public. Stupid bitch.
He just left. Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. How dare you? How dare you tell me like girl, cry about it. You're an incel, you can't get laid. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? What's your opinion on the topic?
What up, bitch?
Is that supposed to hurt my feelings?
No, hold on. I wasn't talking to you. Okay, I'm back. All right. Hey, so yeah, accountability. Yeah, men. I can speak for men. Definitely, they have lustful eyes, but women be wearing skimpy shit. So you gotta like stop wearing shit that shows like cleavage.
Or men
Cause
could just stay home. If
no,
you're
we have to go outside because we run the
okay, and
world.
so do
So
women. And so
no, you
also
work under us. You're our underling.
no, you're not. You're not better than a
Yeah,
woman. You're not then
yeah.
why if you do you believe in God?
What's that got to do with the argument?
Do you believe in God?
You came from our rib. If you're speaking religion,
Do you believe in God?
you
Yes or
came
no?
from Adam's rib.
Okay, so do you believe in God? Yes or no? I'm assuming yes.
What up, bitch?
Yeah, so if women were inferior to men, then why did God give women the ability to create life if we were inferior to you?
Because we were bored, and he's like, "Here we go."
Nah, you're just
No, no, no,
inferior.
no.
You're inferior in all
Listen,
ways.
we
You are
got
a part of the class of people. You are a part of the
we
gender
got
of
time.
people who sexually assault, who unalive, who torture, go to war for funsies
Let me
because
talk, bitch.
because you can't control your emotions and
Yo,
emotionally
stop muting me.
regulate yourself, and you guys have to feel the need to steal land from one
Yeah,
another.
yeah,
You
yeah,
guys are
yeah,
the ones who harm society. You harm
yeah,
children
yeah.
on mass scales. And women, what do women do? Women have emotional maturity. We have
Yeah,
fun. We're able to connect with other
yeah,
people. We're able to solve issues
yeah,
without unaliving each
yeah,
other. We are able to
yeah,
give life if we so choose. We are
yeah,
able to do all of those things. We are
yeah,
superior to you. You will never be better than a
yeah.
woman. You will never be better than a woman. Ever. Ever. Men will never be better than women. Men are not superior to women. Not in any sense of the world. You aren't. We could say that we're equal. Honestly, I could make the argument that women are better just based off of the fact that we are the ones who can have children if we want to. We can give the gift of life if we would so choose. I would argue that that makes us better than you, just inherently. But then I could also argue that women are less violent, and a world ran by women would be so much better than a world ran by men. All of the world's atrocities have been caused by men. You guys are not superior in any way, shape, or form. Moving on to the next. Don't piss me off today. Okay. Claus, what's your take?
Hi. Do you hear me?
Yeah, hardly. What's your take?
Yeah. So here is the first volume of George R. R. Martin's magnificent cycle of novels that include A Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords, A Feast for Crows, and A Dance with Dragons.
Good lord, you're hard to hear. Get a better microphone. Come back when you get a better mic. All right. Moving on. Sean, what do you have to say?
I'd like to start by saying I'm not in opposition to you. I do believe that it is all men till it's none of us. But like I used to get so mad at that statement, like because I was raised by a single mother with 5 sisters, like, well, because it's not all of us. And then I had a woman explain to me that if you break it down statistically, it is safer for women to fear all of us than it is for them to trust us. Does that
Yep.
make sense? Like, you know what I mean?
Sure do.
But as far as like, neither sex is superior to the other. I'm so sick of hearing this. Like,
Yeah, I
dude,
agree that men aren't. I could make the argument that women are, but like that's not what I'm here to do today.
But I mean, I don't feel like that's a fair argument because you were talking about you could bring life in, and
Yeah.
you guys don't actually. We carry life, and then we inject life into females.
You don't do any of the work. You don't do any of the work, Sean. You finished more times in your life than you can count, and most of those have not been inside of a woman. So it's not hard for you. You jerk it for a couple minutes. It's not hard. You don't put any labor into creating life at all. Actually,
But you don't.
men
But
have zero
women
part in
don't
pregnancy.
create the
Did you know
life; they
that?
just carry it. We carry the
It's
life,
not.
and then we give
No,
it to you.
no.
Can you
Women.
Can you create life without a man?
Oh, they're working on it actually.
How? How are they working on it?
They're working on it by something to do with women's bone marrow and DNA. And they're working on a way to develop a way to create a different set of DNA from another woman's bone marrow. So that is something that's being worked on. I don't know when and if that'll ever be something that comes to fruition, but that is being worked on.
I mean, that's a very broad blanket
Also, you don't do
statement.
shit. Like, let's stop pretending that men have any part in creating life. You don't. You don't. You finish and that's it. You have zero part in pregnancy. You do realize that, right? A woman does not become pregnant until the fertilized ovum attaches to the uterine lining. You have zero part in pregnancy because a woman is not even pregnant until that attaches to her uterine lining. So you did nothing except for finish inside of her and hope to God that created a fertilized egg, which in a lot of cases it doesn't. So you are hoping, sitting there hoping that your contribution, which was finishing, mind you, will turn into a fertilized egg, which will then implant into a woman's uterine lining, right? But you have no part in that at all at that point. A woman, she doesn't just carry life. She uses her body to sustain that life. And then after all of that, after 9 months of that, she then uses her body to push out a baby, and she labors for hours and hours and hours while doing so. And then not only after that, she also has the ability, if she so chooses, to breastfeed and continue to sustain that child's life beyond even it being born. So you have no part in that whatsoever. You didn't do shit, Sean. If you have kids, you
Why are
didn't do
you
shit in that
attacking me
process.
personally?
Because you're downplaying women. You're downplaying
I'm not downplaying that. You're
women's
just saying
role
I'm
in creating
downplaying
life.
that.
You have no.
I'm just saying that women
Sean,
can't create life.
Sean, I hate to tell you this, you have no part in the creation of life except for finishing, it's not even, you don't even have part in the process of the cells multiplying. You don't even have part in
Are you
that.
gonna let me rebuttal, or are you just gonna attack me? Like,
I think
you're
it's fun
acting
to yell at
very
men,
much
so
like
you
a
can go
man
ahead
now.
though. Sorry, I got carried away. You can go ahead.
Right, so you're on here saying that I have no part, I'm
Yeah,
fucking
0 part.
worthless. Like, do you see what you're doing?
You have 0 part in the creation of life. Yes, correct.
Actually, see, you keep saying that, but without me, life cannot exist. Do you understand that?
Yeah, but
Like,
so
the
we don't.
female eggs
So
are
here's
not.
the thing. Here's the thing, Sean. We don't need you though. We could go pick a different man. We don't need you. That's the thing. You're not important enough. You're
Right,
not
so you
important
can go
enough for
pick a
another.
different.
Here's the thing. You're not important enough for another woman to choose your sperm. A woman could go choose anyone else's sperm. Do you know how many sperm donors there are in the world? A woman doesn't even need to have you finish inside of her to go
Having
get
an
pregnant.
educated conversation or a fair one. You literally keep muting me. You don't allow me to
Aww.
respond. Like, I'm not an op. Like,
Well, it sounds
I
like you
said
are,
that in the
because you're up
very
here trying
beginning,
to
and you're
argue
sitting
that
here telling me
women.
that just
You're
because I
trying
was
to.
born a
Okay,
male,
so
that I
what
don't
percentage
contribute
do you
to
think that
anything.
you have in the creation of life? What percentage? Put a percent on it.
It would be 50. I
50?
have life.
Girl. Just because it's 50% of your DNA biologically doesn't mean that you had 50% to do with the labor, the emotional labor, the physical labor, and the mental
You
labor
don't
that it
think
is
I was with
to
her?
have a child. You didn't do shit, brother. Men do not, I'm so sick and tired of men acting like they have 50% to do with pregnancy. You don't. Just because your DNA is 50%, just because your child is 50% of your DNA does not mean that you did 50% of the work. You didn't do shit.
So your whole thing is you just want to bash on men. You don't actually want to talk about anything,
No,
right?
I think that like you can come up here and cosplay as a good man, but just because you agree that yeah, it's all men till it's no men doesn't mean that you're a good man.
So what would make me a good man then? Tell me.
Maybe recognizing that you have 0 part in the creation of life other than finishing. And maybe recognizing that you
inaccurate.
don't. No, that's quite literally accurate. You have 0. After you finish, you have 0% responsibility in the creation of life. How is that not clicking in your head? How is that not clicking in your head?
How is it not clicking in your head that
How is
you
it not
cannot
clicking in your?
create
So what
without
do
a
you
man?
do? What do you do to contribute to creating life after you've finished inside? What is the next step for you, Sean?
That's the part. You're trying to downplay the part that we carry the life.
You don't do shit, Sean.
And then we give it to you, and then you incubate, and then you grow the life.
Incubate? We're not an incubator for your sperm, Sean.
What would you call it then?
Not an incubator. I would never refer to a woman as an incubator. I would say that we give and create life.
Men, you're equal part as trash.
Are you real? Okay, so explain to me, Sean. Sean, after you finish, what is the next step that you, as Sean, contributes to the creation of life?
I take care of the mother.
Nope. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the contribution of creating life.
You just deny everything, and you want to have
that doesn't have anything to do with the contribution of life. That doesn't have anything to do with the contribution of the creation of life. Try again. Do you want to try again? That has nothing to do with the contribution of the creation of life.
Okay, so before you get pregnant, what's your contribution to creating life?
None,
You
because
get
I'm
finished
not,
inside of.
yeah,
No,
because
no,
none,
no.
because I'm not
Before you
pregnant.
get finished inside of, what is your contribution to creating life?
Nothing, because I'm not pregnant yet, so I wouldn't be contributing
Right. So
shit.
you only do half of the work, half the part. I understand that pregnancy is a very hard thing. It takes a toll on women's bodies. They do a miraculous miracle. I get all that. But what you're saying is
Okay, so
that
I'm not saying anything, actually. I'm saying that we
actually you
don't.
said a fucking lot.
No, what I'm
And
saying is
every
that,
time I tried to answer your
yeah,
question, you're like, "Oh, we're not going to
oh,
count
you're
that.
so
We're not going to
sad. You're
count
so
this. We're
sad.
not
You're
going to
so
count
sad. You're
that."
so jealous of women because women can create life and give life. You don't do shit. Again, you don't do shit. After you finish, you don't do shit.
Women literally do not create life. They grow the life that they're given.
No, we create
Right?
life because without, no,
You
we
don't. Your
create
eggs
life.
are not alive.
We
Your eggs are
create
not
life.
alive. Your eggs are
We
not
create life.
alive.
So when does the process of cell multiplication start? When does that process start, Sean?
When my living sperm swims to your non-living egg and then creates life.
So you're saying
Right.
you're facilitating the multiplication of the cells? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what you're saying. I'm saying that's not what I said.
Okay, so you don't have any
Your whole
contribution to
argument. No,
life.
stop. Let me
Sean, I
talk.
hate to burst your
Your
bubble, but
whole
you don't do
thing is that men
anything.
have nothing to do
Sean,
with creating life. Are
you
your legs
don't.
alive? Are your eggs alive?
Yeah, everything within your body, everything within your body. So an ovum, right? An egg is alive. Yes, it's not
It's
dead.
actually not alive. Like
It
it's
is.
not
It's a living cell.
moving. It doesn't have
It's
a
a living
purpose. It
cell.
just exists
It's a living
until it gets
cell.
fertilized.
It's a living cell.
It's okay. Cancer's a
Yes,
living
an
cell.
ovum
Does
is
that
a
mean that
living
cancer
cell.
creates life? Living cells
I'm
don't
not the one who
dictate
said that.
creating life.
I'm not the one who said that like ovums and eggs are dead. Because what's the alternative to unalive or alive? Sorry.
Right. So if I took your egg out of a body and put it under a microscope, it would be doing nothing. Right? It wouldn't have movement or a purpose. It just
It's
exists
not
until the
dead.
sperm gets to it.
It's not dead. Are you dumb? It's alive.
I never
Ovums
said
are
it was
alive.
dead. I
Ovums
never
are
once said it was
alive.
dead. Never once said it was dead. And you're saying that men have no part in creating life.
Yeah, you
And
don't.
then I
You
asked
don't.
you,
All
what
you
do
do is
you do to
ejaculate.
create life
All you
before
do
you
is
get finished
ejaculate. All
swimming?
you are is an incubator for sperm. That's all you are, Sean. That's all you are. You're an incubator for your sperm. That's it. That's all you
Right.
contribute.
That is correct.
Okay, so you don't do shit for the creation of life. You don't facilitate it in any way, shape, or form
I
except for
hold
ejaculation.
life
No, you don't.
inside of me.
No, you don't. You don't hold life
What do
inside of
you
you.
don't
You
think
hold
so?
you hold
You're
millions
denying
of
science and you're
sperm.
saying that
You hold
sperm isn't
millions of
alive.
sperm. You hold millions of sperm. Again, an ovum is alive. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. An ovum
Sperm
isn't
are
dead.
living creatures.
An ovum isn't dead. Do you know what an ovum is? It's a cell. You dumb fuck. You know that an ovum
Right.
is a
And if you
cell?
were to
Are you
take
dumb
that
as shit?
cell out of your
It's a
body, it
cell.
would
It's not
what?
an egg. It's
Cease
not
to
a it's
live.
not a dead egg. Are you
It would
stupid?
cease to live, right? If you took your cell out of your body, it would die. My cells, when you take them out of my body, will
Your
continue to live and swim for a short period of time till they die.
You know that most sperm outside of ejaculation die within the first couple of seconds, right?
Yeah,
You do know that,
That's why we
right?
have millions.
Yeah.
You're literally doing this roundabout arguing instead
Bro,
of having
you're
like an
just so
actual
annoying. You're so
conversation.
fucking annoying, Sean. You're so annoying. You're so annoying. You don't do shit. You don't do shit. You don't. You don't contribute in any way, shape, or form to the creation of life beyond ejaculating, which, by the way, you ejaculate into a sock probably every night. Which it's not hard. You're acting like it's hard for you to finish. I don't know if you have erectile dysfunction or something, but like, damn, it's not hard for you. Stop acting like it's a 50% split. It's not a 50% split. Just because 50% of your DNA is going into this, creation, whatever, right? your sperm 50% doesn't mean that you're putting in 50% effort. You aren't. The woman is putting in 100% effort into the creation of life. You put in 0%. That's it. Moving on to the next. Don't piss me off today. You guys are already pissing me off, and it's fucking the first 5 minutes of the live.
Hello?
What do you have to say, Big Balla?
I can't see why two things can't be true at once, though. Like, yeah, men shouldn't act that way, obviously, but, why should women, like, be allowed to just, like, show a lot of skin, too?
Because why would that be problematic? Men are allowed to go outside shirtless. What's the difference between a man's nipple and a woman's nipple? That there's fat
Well,
behind it?
I don't think anybody should show, like, too much skin, including men, but,
Do you
I
think
don't
it should
think,
be illegal to go outside in the United States as a man without a shirt? Because it is illegal for women to do that in a lot of states.
yeah, sure, but,
Okay.
oh,
I
what's it
mean,
called? Yeah, that's like
okay,
what's
so
it?
why
It's
would a
like a,
woman have to cover up just because men think that women are sexual objects? Because the reason that women's bodies are so sexualized is because
okay,
men think that we are sexual objects. So why should we have to conform to what men believe of us? We're human beings. Just
okay,
because I
you're
want to
right.
dress a certain
Yeah.
type of way, it doesn't mean that I'm a pleasure or I'm a toy for your pleasure.
Well, uh, one thing too is that not just ignoring lust for a second. It is also just some can say it's like indecent to show a lot, but uh,
I mean,
you're not a sexual object.
if you're showing
But
your genitals,
can I
then yeah, it'd
finish?
be
Can I finish
indecent.
first?
If you're
Can I
not
finish?
if you're not showing your
Okay.
genitals, it's not indecent.
Well, not everything. Like just because it's not a genital doesn't mean it's not sexual. Like your butt isn't inherently sexual, but it can be. Same thing with like your boobs. So
So why would boobs be sexual? Why are boobs sexual?
what? Well, I mean, I don't know, but it's like,
Why do you think they are sexual? What function biologically do breasts provide?
well, I'll tell you what. I don't know why I'm attracted to them, but I am. Like, and
Oh,
I'm assuming I was born that way, and I'm assuming most men were born that way.
no, it's
So if
because
it's
they've been
gonna
sexualized in our
what?
society.
Wait, my
It's
bad.
be-
I couldn't hear you.
Hold on, it's because they've been sexualized in our society. Because what is the biological function of a breast? It's to feed your children. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why women have breasts and men don't.
Wait, I mean, I could kind of make like the distinction from there that, like in our monkey brains, we're thinking big breasts mean like it can feed the future baby better. You could also make that argument.
Well, we're not monkeys, are we?
Well, we're
We're
I mean,
humans with complex
right.
thoughts,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like,
true, but we're never gonna get rid of that like part of our brains. That's just never gonna go away. We could like
well,
evolve for hundreds of thousands of years. It's just always gonna be there. So
there are some men who have foot fetishes. There's actually a large portion of
yeah,
men who
that's
have
true.
foot fetishes. So should women now be forced to cover up their feet because men have foot fetishes? And there's no
Like
biological function
outliers.
for a foot, right? There's no biological function for a foot that is sexual in nature.
Yeah, that's
Same
true.
for
Yeah,
breasts.
that's true. How
So-
much of men though? Like how much?
Actually, a lot. I think a foot fetish is the.
Can I get like
I
a
think,
percent if you have one? I know you wouldn't.
I don't
obviously-
know,
yeah,
but I know
yeah.
that foot fetishes are one of the most common type of fetishes amongst men and women.
Men and women. Okay, well, I think just because a fetish is a fetish, a lot of people just don't have them, as in like fetishes. So it's not like a big part of the population, and I don't see like men like acting weird around feet. Like maybe when they're by themselves, but like I don't see a dude going around saying like to his friends without getting laughed at anyways, because some say it as a joke, oh, she has like bad feet or something, or like big, not big feet, but you know what I mean though, right?
Sure. I'm just saying that. Here's what I'm saying. So, there's the only reason that men believe that women should cover up their breasts is because men have sexualized breasts.
Wait, can I say one thing? Is the chat paused? Because I can't. If there's people just not typing.
No,
in,
it's a glitch on TikTok.
okay. All right, keep going.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's no reason to. The only thing that the only requirement, I believe, is that you should be covering your genitals. You shouldn't be exposing your genitals. But other than that, like if you want to wear a skimpy top out with, showing all of your cleavage, I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to do that. I don't understand why it's so demonized for women to look sexy in our society
Well,
when men
why do you want to look sexy?
men love to have sex, but then men demonize women for looking sexy. It doesn't make sense. And it's all
Okay, yeah,
purity
you're right.
culture.
Men do like sex, but
Yeah, but then they
I
get
don't
mad
think
whenever a
I
woman
think
looks sexy.
women do too. I think men
Yeah,
and women do.
correct.
But
Men and women like to have sex, but we aren't punishing sexy looking men by telling them to cover up. When have you ever heard a woman see a man in a three-piece suit and say, "Cover up, you're too
wait,
sexy"?
I'm like, is a is a is a my bad. This might be like a dumb question. It's like a 3-piece suit. Like, what is that? Is like just a suit?
A three-piece suit is just look it up. It's just a type of suit.
If I leave to switch it up real quick, would that like
No,
end
it won't mess your thing up. Nope.
even showing any? That's like covering damn near all the skin.
I don't care. Some people believe that a woman with a fat ass wearing leggings is too sexual. It's covering all skin, but
Well, yeah,
since
but
you
it's
can see
tight.
her, but
But
since
it's
you
tight,
can
so you
see,
can see the shape of it, and that's
yeah,
mainly the
so,
sexual part of it.
but it's still covering all skin. A suit, you can still see the
Yeah,
shape.
you're getting
You can
into
still.
like
I don't
yeah.
care, bro. None of it makes sense. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay,
And
you
it's
got
not a
into
woman's
the
responsibility to we live in a free society. We live in a free we're supposed to be living in a free society where we can do whatever we want, where we
yeah.
can practice whatever religion we want to.
Okay.
So why is it that we have to subscribe to purity culture just because men believe that we should?
Okay, I don't think most men, at least, right? Are you in America or like?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. In America, at least, purity culture is like, it's not looked upon where it's like, oh, if you're not a virgin, you're a hope. I don't think people do that anymore.
They do. Purity
Not a
culture is
lot
on
of
the
people.
rise.
Okay,
Purity
most
culture,
men probably
purity
have. Most men
culture,
have more bodies than women.
purity
Like, most,
culture.
yeah.
No, hold on. You're wrong. Purity culture is on the rise in the United States because of
Yeah.
red pill, because
Yeah,
of
that's
red
true.
pill content.
No, it's just like if you look across history, it's just like a cycle where it's like liberal then conservative, liberal then conservative. That's just never not going to happen. It's just always going to be that way. But this is just starting now, and it hasn't gotten to like a big extent yet, because maybe 10, 20 years you can say that. But
No, women have always been the victims of purity culture. Purity culture reaches women in so many more ways than you can count.
Yeah, it does. But back to what we're talking about, clothing, about the leggings thing. I think women should wear leggings. There's nothing like wrong. Like, it is to an extent
Right.
kind of showing off, I guess, but it's not like, I don't think women do it intentionally. But like, if you're wearing like a top where you can literally see the whole breast, like all of it except for the nipple, like I feel like you can see what you're doing and maybe what's wrong about that.
What would be wrong about it? Could you explain it?
Well, I mean, you're showing off, like, and we talked about this earlier. Your breasts.
You're choosing to look sexy.
Well, why do you want to look sexy?
A variety of reasons. For me, whenever I go out it depends on where I'm going. If I'm going out to a club, if I'm going out to a bar, that's the vibe. I want to look sexy because that's the vibe. Typically, I'm going out with my friends who are all women. So I go out with my female friends, right? And we all want to look sexy because that's the vibe of the night. We want to look good. We want to go out and drink and have fun, and we want to feel good about ourselves, feel confident in what we're wearing, and that's the appropriate time to look sexy if that's what you want to do.
Okay. So it has absolutely nothing to do with men or a man in particular at all when you wear a top like that. Like, literally nothing.
No, because I never go out with the intention to get laid, ever.
Okay, do
Some
you
people
think?
might, and I don't think
Yeah,
if some people do, okay, that's good for them. But
yeah.
still, that doesn't mean that that doesn't what does that have to do with really anything? Like if someone goes out with the intention to get laid, goes out to a bar, I don't like so what? That's their intention, but that's not everyone's intention.
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
called
That's not.
consent.
Yeah, you're right. But if you're gonna go out wearing like that sort of stuff, you want to look good for yourself too. That's fine. Like you want to look good because you like being confident, or maybe you want to like be look good to other women. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're gonna wear that stuff, like you should at least be aware of what you're inviting, because just biologically,
What are you inviting?
a man that thinks you're attractive and wants to talk to you.
Okay, so he can talk to me and I can decline his advances. It happens all the time.
Yeah, no, you can do that. But a lot of women, like younger women, and a lot of just young people in general, they might not know how to say no, and then they get a body that they didn't even want to like let
Okay, so
you
then
know.
that would be on the men to control themselves and not to coerce women who don't want it into sex. Because I can
Well,
promise you, even if she doesn't say no, even if she doesn't explicitly say no, there are physical signs that you can see in a woman, or a man for that matter,
okay,
that indicates that she or he does not want to have sex or do
okay,
anything sexual. There are physical signs that show she is not interested.
okay. But what if she agrees to it wholeheartedly, and then the next day she just regrets it? That I know that happens a lot.
That doesn't happen a lot.
Yes,
That's a
it
myth.
does.
It doesn't. It's
I know women that's happened to that. Like a lot of women actually, men
so
too. Like I think that happens.
yeah, I mean, sure, some people regret having sex with some people, but like that doesn't mean that they're saying that it wasn't consensual. That just means that they
Okay,
regretted
wait.
it.
I don't know if you see this. Like the same guy in the chat's like begging to join
Yeah, I
live.
see it. It's fine. He can wait.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that. So, like, that doesn't mean that they're saying it wasn't consensual. So what? They could regret their decision and move on with their life. Like, that's what normal. If someone's regretting having sex with another person, that's typically
Okay.
what they do. They just move on with their life and say, okay, like, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well, we move on.
Okay. So, all right. I'm gonna get back to like what I was trying to say earlier, though. I said at the start, why can't two things be true? Because I don't think you never really like answered that. You just kind of said why women should be allowed to say those things. I mean, wear those things. My bad.
Why can't two things be true at once?
Yeah, why can't men obviously should control their lust? Like, there's no excuse for like doing and saying bad things to women.
Yeah,
But
because
if you're gonna, but there's obviously just something maybe innately wrong with just showing off so much skin.
there's not.
Well, why not?
Because
Why is like damn near every single culture on Earth up until maybe like a couple years ago, like everybody was expected to cover up.
because men were in charge and they push purity culture onto women because they are unable to control themselves and their thoughts. And so they believe if they can control what women wear, and it's also an ownership thing. A lot of men
Okay.
in the past viewed women as property. They didn't want their property being seen by another man, and they didn't like that. So since they didn't like their property potentially deviating from them and being seen by another man, they forced women to cover up and they forced purity culture onto women. Meanwhile, mind you, these same men who were forcing their wives into purity culture, into covering up, were also fucking prostitutes. And fucking other women and had mistresses. Do you know how many kings had mistresses that and their queens if they so much as looked at a man in a certain type of way that the king didn't like, they would be beheaded? Do you know how often that would happen? Quite frequently.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like gonna give me an actual number for a second. My bad.
I mean, you could just look to there was a king in England who had like 8 wives.
Oh yeah, that one guy. I learned
Yeah.
about him like a couple
Yeah,
years
do you
ago.
know how many mistresses he had? Probably hundreds over his lifetime.
Mistresses. I don't think England, like in particular, did mistresses.
They
Like, just
definitely
England.
took mistresses. Almost,
No, I mean
I
just
would argue
England,
that
like-
every king took a mistress.
No, I'm talking about like just England, because like they just really hated that for some reason. But yeah, men for the most part, like I'm not saying they should be in charge, but they are still in charge, but things have changed. Why do you think that is?
Because women have started to fight for their rights, and they have started to fight men on the oppression that men have imposed on us. And so therefore we've started to become more progressive as societies, and we've allowed women to actually exist as individuals rather than a man's property.
Okay, so women started gaining rights. How?
By fighting for them.
Like how fighting? Like protesting?
Yeah, protesting,
Okay.
just
Well, just
advocating for
protesting or like other
themselves.
stuff?
I mean,
Wait, I
I'm
didn't
not
hear
going to
you.
give you a history lesson on how this happened. You can look it up later.
Okay, yeah, I know how it happened. I'm just trying to see like what you know about it. Women gained power after the world wars because like when the men went off to fight, the women were like they had to do all the jobs at home, and that told people, okay, they're not just like property or whatever.
Okay, if that were true, then why weren't women able to own credit cards and bank accounts until the 70s, well after the Second World War?
Well, it wasn't right away, it was gradual.
Right, but that's not why we gained rights. We gained rights because we fought for them, not because of world wars.
Well, you kind of fought for them by the world wars, you understand that.
Women didn't want anything to do with men's stupid ass world wars. War is a concept made up by men.
Okay,
Men.
you're acting like
the
men and women are like
the
two
XY
different things.
chromosome created war. We don't want anything to do with it.
Women were like, okay, World War II was like a nationalist thing. I feel like you're viewing it as a thing where men do one thing and women are like, oh, we're forced to do this. No, a lot of women.
All right, I'm bored of him. Next. I don't think he really knew what was going on. Odd Wheeler, what's your take?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Being
Okay.
called to be a human being right now, I gotta exist in real space for just a moment, y'all. I think this is more of just like we need to identify sexual, like predatory behaviors in both genders. Labeling it as one or the other creates like opportunity for divide on an issue instead of it actually be discussed in the light that it needs to be. So, like trying to pin it all on just one gender because we don't actually monopolize that. We don't. I get that that's kind of like how it's painted, but we're definitely like the more I guess accountable gender, and
I don't think so.
definitely try to make a point of it in public. But we don't condone that kind of behavior from our own kind. You know, if we see it, we try to address it.
You don't think that you think that you're the most accountable gender? Are you aware that the majority of people who RAPE women get away with it?
At the normal levels here on just where it's a peer-to-peer basis, yes. At the higher levels where there's a lot of other politics, money, and other things in play, yeah, no, there's definitely a clear and distinct bias. Like literally with P. Diddy getting off, they're basically saying, hey, we don't care what happens to y'all as long as they're making bank, okay?
Everyday men get away with it all the time.
The next guy complaining about you.
Only 2% of rapists go to jail. I hate to break it to you. According to the Department of Justice statistics, you can look it up. It's on the DOJ website. You can look up the crime stats in America, and you can go see that only 2% of rapists go to jail. So no, men are not being held accountable for their actions. Men are not being held accountable for every ass grab that they do. Men are not being held accountable for every cat call that they do. Men are not being held accountable even when they are found guilty, because you have stupid ass judges who let people like Brock Turner only serve 6 months in jail. You have stupid ass judges who overturn rape convictions because they believe that person's jeans or their bra or whatever piece of clothing they were wearing was too tight for a man to get off alone, so the woman must have assisted him. You have judges allowing for rapists to get off just because those judges see themselves in those men. That's why they do it. We allow men to get away with sexual assault all the time.
You hit the nail on the head. you hit the nail on the head. It's the people who are at the top who already see
It's also
women.
the men too. It's also the everyday men who rape women and get away with it.
It's the active enabling and the passive enabling. Yeah.
Okay, so what are women doing that is equally contributing to the problem? Because you said that
It's not
it was
necessarily.
equal and that we're dividing genders when we're talking about this.
All right. So I'm saying just like there is no one gender who has a monopoly on like predatory like behavior
Yes, there
in
is. It's
this
men.
in the dating spheres.
Yes, it is. It's
We don't
men.
have the monopoly. We don't have
Yes,
a
you do.
monopoly
It's
on it.
men. It's literally men.
Okay, then you're literally saying that a woman cannot rape or sexually
Nope.
assault a man.
Nope. You said a
That is
monopoly.
literally what
You
you
said a monopoly. Is a monopoly?
No,
So
we don't have a monopoly.
yes, you
I said we
do.
don't have the monopoly.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Monopoly means that you have the whole thing, nobody else. You're the only one. If you want to come to somebody for that product, you're the only one. And you're saying that basically
Yeah, I'm not saying that
we're
women.
the only ones.
So I'm not saying that women cannot do these things, but what I am saying is that it is insane for you to act like women are committing these crimes on the same level. They're not. I believe it's 98% of sexual predators are men. The majority of people who sexually assault children are men. The majority of people who unalive other people are men. The majority of people who commit DV, men. Men are the ones committing almost every single violent crime in America. They do have a monopoly. When you're talking about 2% versus 98%, yeah, I'd say that's damn near a monopoly.
And why do you think that is?
Because men grow
Where
up entitled. Men grow up being told that they are allowed to have whatever they want. Men grow up being
I
told, men grow up being told that men grow up expecting to find a wife. They are born into this world and they are told that they deserve a wife. They deserve to have children. They deserve all of these things, which no, they don't. You don't deserve a wife. You don't deserve children.
or
That's a privilege. It's a privilege to have a woman talk to you, let alone marry you. That's a privilege that has to be earned. It's a privilege to have children. It's a privilege to bring another life into this world. And so to act like to raise young boys into believing that they are entitled to sex and they are entitled to a woman's body, that is why they believe that they are entitled to take whenever a woman says no.
well, that is a very impassioned take, and I can understand why you would feel that way. But what if I said that these problems were much larger and overarching than just simply, men and women? And it comes down to structure and how things have been painted and how they've been painted since society has been structured.
Yeah, society built by men.
And but what kind of man? Because there's more than one kind. You try to paint it as men are men, and a man is a man, and is a man. And I promise you, it's the same thing as like trying to strawman women down to just they're just women.
Yeah, so
Would you appreciate it if somebody tried to do that with your gender? Something that
so
you would identify with?
when it comes to men, so men are fine upholding the patriarchy because the patriarchy benefits them much more than it benefits women. And so men are fine doing that. Majority of men don't believe in dismantling the patriarchy
Just
because
comfortable
why would
enough.
they?
Yeah, just comfortable enough with the suffering that and that's the whole package. Is like everybody's looking around like, oh well, your pile of crap isn't as tall as mine, and it's still a pile of crap. And I hear you. Okay, most of it is the capability. I feel like. It's kind of like the trolley problem. You ever heard of that? Where it's like if you're kind of removed from the problem, you're just kind of a third person to it,
Yeah,
but you have some kind of control.
I've heard of
Right,
the trolley
right.
problem.
Like if you pressed a button right now, and you and a few of your closest buddies made we'll say enough money to make you rich for the rest of your life. You'll never have to want for any physical or material thing for the rest of your life. You press a button, you and the people you know all get this material wealth. And just, a few thousand people, a few 100,000 people you'll never meet, strangers you'll never know. Their lives are going to be significantly worse. And, some of them may die in the process. Would you still press that button?
No, if I knew people were gonna die, no, because I have empathy and I care about people.
Even still, and like, yes, like that is the appropriate response. Thank you. Yes, but that's easy to say. What if we actually put a price list instead of it being an ambiguous number? What would be your price? Is there a price for you, or is it your moral standing too much?
So
Or is it
So
not
if
worth
if your hypothetical was going to disenfranchise innocent people, I would say no. If it was going to disenfranchise horrible men or horrible individuals, horrible women who have, I don't know, like maybe if we took like, for example, like Epstein's wealth away from him while he was still alive, for example, yeah, I'd say fuck yeah, I'm pressing the button. But if we're taking away,
yeah.
if we're disenfranchising innocent people, then it's going to be a no.
Yeah, no, and that's the way it should be filtered.
What does this have to do with what we're talking
don't
about?
even stop. Okay, because a lot of people don't stop to ask that question, and that's what
Yeah, that's what
we're getting
rapists don't
away
ask
from.
whenever they start to rape women and they decide
exactly. And
to
that kind of
ruin our life.
personality is allowed to thrive, and how it got here is through a very dark and sinister process. Like it's just we've been blind to it, and either it's been intended in the system all along, or it's just been a byproduct, and here we are, and we need to deal with it. Either way, it's got to be something that we address, and that it's creating a lot of division. We are divided on everything, and so we can't come together on anything, and so little things become much
Yeah,
much
I agree.
more.
Women don't want to be sexually assaulted and raped. And then whenever we talk about it, men cry about false accusations, which are statistically rare, statistically don't ruin lives, and statistically have no impact on a person's future. So yeah, I agree that we are talking about very different things, because whenever women are just saying, please stop catcalling, please stop harassing, please stop sexually assaulting and raping me and my sisters and my mothers and my friends,
What I
like
was
please
trying
stop
to
doing
say
that
is
to
those
us,
people at the
then
top,
men bitch and moan and
they don't listen
cry.
to no. They don't hear no. Juneteenth was should have been kind of like America's wake up call. Those people had to have other people with loaded pew pews at their doorsteps, trained and ready to use them against them with government documents in order to let go of the people that they didn't own anymore, that America said wasn't theirs anymore. If that doesn't give you clear indication, like with the Bible, I'm not quoting anything anybody said, but Ramses with Moses, he came after him, come through the Dead Sea, died because of it. We have physical evidence that there's like chariots at the bottom of the Red Sea. Men in power letting go of people, considering them more than just resources, and that's what's wrong. And it's just been throughout history. Just pick up a book. Yeah, like these countries have done great things, but this has been the people of those countries, not the people in charge. When we talk about the people in charge, it's usually about all of the heinous things that they have done.
I'm sorry, are you
Period.
not you're not saying that that everyday men uphold rape culture, right? Everyday men do that. They uphold rape culture, which allows for women to continue to be sexually assaulted. Everyday men do it. They do it through victim blaming. They do it through misogyny. They do it through sexism. They do it through, demanding victims whenever they're sharing their stories show proof. They call women liars. They say that they are quote unquote ungrapeable. They say that no one would want to grape you because you're too ugly. They say crazy shit like that. Everyday men do.
Anything to discredit the actual claim.
Yes.
anything else, but actually acknowledging the person. And there's actually a song by Protest the Hero that I really like. It's called Plato's Tripartite. Um, and in it, he actually quotes. He says, "No one's innocent if they go free." You know, and he's talking about those who walk among us, and it's like just give the song a listen. Like the lyrics like really speak to what you're actually like speaking on, and it's something that we don't give it the right kind of culture, and it's not given the right kind of attention either. It should be something that we talk about as men and women instead of it being something that's thrown at either gender. I would say specifically, because then again, at the end of the day, like it takes dialogue and it takes agreement. And it takes people being active and aware and educated and not being combative with each other at the end of it.
I'm at the point where I don't care if men get on board or not. I'm at the point where if you are a rape supporter or you are a victim blamer or maybe you're a sexual predator yourself, I'm at that point where I don't care. I think society should leave them behind, and I think that we should banish those people from our society. I'm tired of them. They're never going to learn. They're never going to make up for their mistakes. If you once a rapist, always a rapist. I don't care how long ago it was. It could have been 70 years ago. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a singular fuck. You should be in jail. You should not get a second chance at life after you stole somebody else's light. You should not get a second chance. You should go to jail for however long, for the rest of your life, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck about rehabilitating these monsters. I don't care about any of it. I want these people out of our society. I want them banished. And I want the people who support those people also gone. And I'm tired of them.
Yeah. No.
That's where women are at. That's where we are.
Yeah. No.
So either get on board or get out. Like at this point, that's really all I have to say.
We should have been here long ago. And the fact that it's gone this long has it's just there's so many fires. Where do we begin? And I don't mean to marginalize and already just like it seems like it's not getting the right attention, but like where do we begin to fix everything that's wrong just between like men and women, but not only that, but like with the world and those who run it. I mean, look at Jay Epstein's list. Like it's gone like this long. They're camping on it so hard. I don't know if it's out of fear. I don't know what's going on there, but it feels like that's not getting the right handle on it. And it's just basically showing more and more that they're not caring about the victims made.
I mean, maybe if men got raped as much as women did, then maybe they would give a fuck, but they don't. And not raped by other women. I'm talking about being sexually assaulted by other men. Because oftentimes men, like, that's really the only, like, in where we are today, that is the only possibility that I could foresee somebody like men starting to jump on board with women and start caring to the same level that we do. But obviously that's not what's going to happen in our society. Women are going to continue to be targeted. Women are going to continue to be hurt. Women are going to continue to feel the pain that men don't necessarily have to feel. And so, yeah, really, like, I only foresee men jumping on board with us if they were experiencing it the same level that we were. And they're not. They just aren't.
We're not experiencing it the same ways, but we are still experiencing it. And it's
you guys, hold on one second. The comments,
those,
I want to say, you guys in the comments are fucking stupid. I did not say that men need to be sexually assaulted more. That's not what I said. What I said was that if men, do you guys not know what if men were raped by other men at the same level that women were, then maybe you guys would give a fuck about what we're going through. But since that's not the case, you guys are not understanding why it's so fucking bad for us. You guys are dumb as shit. Jojo, you're dumb as shit. You're dumb. Like I said, if. Never said, you're dumb as shit, Jojo. I'm not adding you. You're stupid. Like, you guys are fucking dense as shit. The second, and you know what's crazy? The second that I pose even like the hypothetical that men experience the same thing that women have, which I'm not condoning that whatsoever. I think we should end rape culture entirely.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that you guys are even screaming right now at the top of your lungs, oh my God, I can't believe she just, posed a hypothetical where we live in a world where men are experiencing sexual violence at the same rate that women are. That the fact that that triggers you guys so badly is genuinely like, how do you think we feel? We're the ones actually experiencing it. We're the ones actually being raped. You're not. Like, yeah, you might have experienced you could experience sexual violence as a man, absolutely not denying that. But I would venture to say that the majority of men in this chat right now have not experienced sexual violence from another man, and they don't know what it's like. So, Jojo, I might add you up in just a second after we're done with Wheeler. Unless you're just going to troll.
And we're hitting a lot of the same notes. Yes, we should exile these types. Yes, there needs to be something done with them, but we can't just like throw them out of our country. And we'd have to get real comfortable real quick with a lot of people, and setting some hard boundaries there. And we should. And it should get the attention that it's getting, but like everything else is getting in the way, it seems like. And just here, and it's like that on so many issues where anything becomes inflammatory, and it's like we can't get any common ground on it. No commonality.
Yeah, I agree.
But we can agree that it is a problem. It is something that shouldn't be a part of our human experience any longer. Like we're no longer in the Wild West. This isn't the jungles. Why are we still living like we're in the jungle?
Yeah, I agree. I would love to live in a world free of all sexual violence. And unfortunately, the only way to fully stop sexual violence is to get men on board, because the only reason that there is sexual violence is because men and a select few women are perpetrating it. And so to end that, we have to, like, women as a whole could all get together right now and say, we're tired of being sexually assaulted. But no matter how much we scream it from the rooftops, it's not going to stop until men decide we're going to stop doing this to women. Until we start putting down problematic men. But like, obviously that's not going to happen. That's not happening. There is no death penalty for SA in America. So that's not going to happen, unfortunately. And I think that would make things complicated. I don't even think that's a different conversation. But yeah, regardless of what women do, it's going to take men as well to stop the problem.
Yeah, no. Those who do it serialized have shown they have a certain pattern, victim type. There's a whole science to it. These people just do not stop. There's all gas and it breaks. So yeah, no, I agree that something does need to be done about it. But also it feels like our society's run by them, hence why the J. Epstein list is getting exactly no attention. They're trying to do everything else but talk about that.
Yeah, and what's crazy is J.E., he would never be sentenced, despite all of the things that he did. He would never get the D penalty, regardless of all of the things that he did. He would not get the D penalty because men don't believe, again, men. It was men who reversed this, because there used to be some states in America where you could be sentenced to death.
There are plenty of us who are very vocally outraged at the way that some of these things have been handled, like that guy getting a slap on the wrist and being said, I don't think it should ruin his life for and I quote, a good time from a judge sitting in office talking about a young woman getting SA'd while she was drugged by this popular athlete who was also a swimmer at the time. You guys remember that a few years ago?
Yep.
You old enough for that? Yep. And I quote. So again, here I am, very clearly outraged. Would be beside myself if that were the ruling for my daughter, and not just as a father, just anybody, being so dismissed. She went through a horrifying, life-altering experience, and you're just chalking it up to a good time. And you're sitting where you're sitting, and people elected you, and you're paid by the state.
Yep, correct. That's how I feel about the President of the United States. If you could become the President of the United States and be an accused rapist 27 times and also be adjudicated in a civil court of law, I think that this country is pretty fucked up, seeing that most people said, well, a woman isn't better than a sexual predator, though. It's insanity. Insanity, everybody. And I, for one, I just want to make this so very clear to piss off the Trumplicans in the comments. I can't wait for that man to pass face away. Can't wait. I will celebrate the fucking day. The world will be better without his ass.
Hey, Matt.
2028 cannot get here fast enough. And
yeah, what's up, JoJo? What do you want to say?
Hey, how you doing?
We'll see.
All right, so honestly, I want to come over here and have a conversation with you. Obviously, I'm not one-sided. I'm very open-minded. There are a lot of men out here that have a terrible intentions, terrible mindset, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with the R word. I don't agree with SA and none of that kind of thing, nothing like that. But here's where I cross the line at. So reading the prompt, take accountability for your lust instead of forcing a woman to cover up. All right, so if you were let's say you were at a beach or you were at a bar or whatnot, and you see, let's say your celebrity crush, shirt off, 6-pack, 8-pack, whatever, hot sweating, you know what I'm saying? However you like him, you know what I mean? You're gonna be more, realistically, you're gonna be more attracted to that person, correct? Honestly.
I would think that they look sexy. But I feel like I can see a man fully clothed and also think of him as sexy as well.
That's fine. Yeah, no, there's no argument there. It's true. You know what I mean? See, that person says like dad bods. Okay, so whatever you're more, bound in, I'm not bringing this up for SA or anything like that. I'm saying in general, you're more attracted to. So, obviously, you know what I'm saying? When we show more skin, like you said, they can be fully covered up. You still find them attractive. But what causes your attraction more, like what makes you turn your eyes to somebody more is if, hey, okay, this guy, bro, he keeps his body, in a certain way, or his physique is different.
Jojo, please tell me your entire fucking argument is not you're attracted to what you're attracted to. And if you see what you're attracted to, you're going to be attracted to it. Like, please tell me that was not.
That's not.
But here,
I wish I could.
Here's the sad truth. Here's the sad truth.
There's an impulsive few that when they see a woman's body so displayed,
Sure.
feel
So,
so
Jojo,
so
when you
moved.
get back at crayons, do you
Like
just
that's the problem.
start shoving them in your mouth?
That's the problem.
My point is not to
And-
touch them. My point is that you're more bounded to go up to them and say, "Hey, can I get your number?" Or you're more attracted to them. You know what I'm saying? In general, not SA, not touching,
More
none of
attention
that.
getting.
So when
More
it's
attention
vice
getting.
versa,
It
you
shouldn't-
know what
the
I'm saying?
problem shouldn't be
Now-
the attention either.
Okay, let me get to this point, right? Because I'm a Muslim man, right? Regardless of religion, as my girl, she's supposed to be covered up, hair covered up, because if you look at her and you look at a girl that's butt naked, or let's say she have a bikini or whatever she has that's showing her cleavage, like the host mentioned, right? You're more welcoming, and not once again, not for SA, not for anything else. You're just more welcoming. That's not what Mac is saying. Okay, so what is she saying then? I haven't even got my point across, and you're saying that. But I'm saying that it's like, okay, accountability for your lust instead of forcing women to cover up. Okay, so what is she saying, Sess? Since you have something in common about.
So I see. So this prompt stemmed from the fact that I see men talking about how they struggle with lust and perverted thoughts, which, mind you, if you're struggling with lust, really what you're telling me is that you're struggling to look at a woman as a human being and not sexualize her, because I can see a man without a shirt on, JoJo, and not think about wanting to have sex with them. I can do that. And I can, even if they're hot as fuck, I can think about them as an individual person and not just a sex object. And so if you as a man cannot think of a woman as a human, but instead you think of her as a sex object just because she has on biker shorts and a crop top at the gym, that is more of a problem on the man's part. And it's never the responsibility of a woman to it's never the responsibility of a woman to have to try and mediate that issue that's going on with that man, because like if I have an issue with my mental health, I would go to a therapist. I would go to a psychiatrist. So if a
Right.
man's having an issue, not like he needs to talk with a psychiatrist about that. He needs to talk
Right.
with a therapist and understand why he's viewing women in that way.
So who's forcing women to cover up?
I mean, it depends on where you're at. It could be religion, it could be a society, it could be the government, it could be just the men in your household, really. It depends.
Are you forced to cover up?
No, I'm not. Because I choose to live my life differently from, I'm sure, a lot of like what my family lives, and then also I live in America, so nobody is forced. I mean, if you're talking about like, am I forced to cover up my breasts? Yeah, but other than that, like, no.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, and then going back to your point of you said that it wouldn't automatically make you want to have, sex with somebody if they have their shirt off or if you found them a certain kind of attraction.
Yeah.
That may be you, and that may be a percentage of women, but I've seen a plethora of women say, "Oh, this guy makes me wet," or whatever the case may be, where they want to have, sex with that person, just off of solely based on how they look. They can be the dirtiest guy in the world, and just because, just off of first attraction, they want to do, whatever it is. Which is, I mean, is it not lust on the women's part? And if the man accepts it, is it their fault?
To be honest, I don't think that lust exists. I think that like lust is something that was created by religion and it's enforced by purity culture. So even if somebody was having those thoughts, I don't think that those thoughts are necessary. So like for example, if somebody was a slut, I don't care. I don't care if somebody's a slut. I don't care if somebody's a virgin. I don't care how somebody chooses to live their sexual life. But what I would say is that if you come on the internet and you start crying about the fact that you are a Christian man, for example, and I've seen a lot of Christian men do this, and they talk about the gym, for example. Oh,
They talk
women
about
at
what?
the
I'm sorry.
gym, they're not covered up. What?
I'm sorry. You said that what was it? They talk about what?
So, like, Christian men will often talk about how they are struggling with lust at the gym, and they'll be
Okay.
like, "Oh, the girls at the gym who aren't covered up, they're not helping me." Yeah, they're not put on this earth to help you with your lust and your struggles with your ideology that you believe is sinful. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're actually correct about that. But those are for those men. I mean, honestly, if you had to round it up, I'm pretty sure there's not a statistic actually out there, but at those percent of men, like, what's the percentage on that? You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you say you've heard that. I'm not gonna say I never heard that, but it's not like a continuous thing that I'm hearing. It's not often where I'm hearing that. I understand that. I know there's a big thing about the gym and wearing tight clothes in the gym, which I want to make a point after you answer that question. But what's like the percentage of men saying that?
I mean, I would say that it's
Or chances
most
from 1 to 10,
religious
like what would you?
men. Most religious men, I think, believe that way. I mean,
Okay.
I think especially most Christian men. I can't speak for any other like major religion because I'm only specifically around Christian culture. But yeah, Christianity for sure. A lot of the men think like that, and a lot of the men rely on purity culture, and they believe that like women should cover up.
Do you feel like the the average, gym attire you see on TikTok, do you think that's appropriate for women? Sorry.
Yeah,
And when I
yeah.
mean
The
average,
average.
I mean like the gym shark, like tight, whatever, or, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Do you think that's appropriate?
yeah. I think that's appropriate. I think that that's appropriate, more than appropriate.
Okay. The next question about that is, what is necessary? And I'm not saying that it's inappropriate, but what I'm asking is, what's wrong with wearing, let's say, what men wear? We don't wear that. You know what I'm saying? Or we wear joggers, and this is not for the people in the comments about say, oh, don't compare men and women, but I'm saying in general, Does it hurt to wear joggers or, you know?
So I mean, like if you want to wear joggers, I mean, I know a lot of like women who they'll wear like joggers on a lot of women will wear joggers on leg day, and then some women want to actually see like their muscle, like they want to see their gains, you know, right after. They want to see the pump, and so they'll wear tighter attire. So like I don't care what you wear as long as your genitals and your boobs are covered, like okay. Like
That's a good argument. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now, could there be an alternative like shorts? Now, I'm saying this on the devil's advocate of, from your quote or from your opinion, because, like you say, men will look at you and they want to get at you and essay and whatever the case may be. So, and I understand your point is, why should we have to cover up for a man's lust?
That was your point at all, actually.
The point is, why not cover up?
because it has nothing to do with clothing has nothing to do with how if a man decides to become a sexual predator or not. Because if that were true, both you and Odin, two men on the panel, if men had an innate response to seeing a woman's naked body or partially naked body that was, I'm going to have sex with her regardless of if she consents or not, both of you guys would have those feelings. So what sexual predators will do is they will blame their actions onto their victims, so that way they can take that responsibility off of them to feel better about themselves, and they will blame their victims. And that is one way that they do it. They say, well, I couldn't help myself, she was wearing this clothing, right? But you, as a normal man who doesn't sexually assault women, know that that's bullshit, because if that's true, that would make you and Odin up here also think that way about women whenever you see them half naked. Example.
Okay. That's a very good point. Are women are only women victims, or are men victims as well?
No, yeah, men are victims as well. Men are victims
This is
of.
not when I ask you that, I don't mean like, are women, the people that's doing it to men. I'm saying there's men, there's
Yeah,
women
there's
and
men
women.
on men. There's men on men for sure.
I can argue this is very like uneducated. It's an uneducated guess. Sorry, educated guess. Sorry, but this is not me. The research. But I guarantee that there are a lot of men out there, even women. But there's a lot of men out there who don't report it because it's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of dudes don't want to be perceived as gay. A lot of dudes don't want to be, looked at as, okay, I'm weak because this happened to me as a man. So
For sure.
It
no,
goes
and
the same both ways. I feel like
no,
my argument is that it goes the same both ways.
So I absolutely agree with you. And men and women, they underreport at just about the same level. Men underreport, I think it's like 3 to 5% more. So they underreport a little bit more. So less men are reporting. How do we
calculate someone unreporting though?
What?
How do you calculate someone unreporting?
So the Department of Justice does a very, very comprehensive survey every single year of I believe it's more than 250,000 Americans. And it's called the National Crime Victimization Survey. They survey every single crime in America that you could possibly be the victim of. They survey those victims and they ask, did you report this crime? And so they take those statistics, those numbers that they get, they compare that to the number of reported crimes, and then they get the number of unreported.
Emmanuel said it's not comprehensive. What does he mean?
It is comprehensive. He's just a loser. Don't listen to him. It's very comprehensive. It's the biggest survey in the United States of America.
Okay.
Yeah.
What survey is this? I've never taken it, so I'm sorry.
It's called the National Crime Victimization Survey, and it's put on by the Department of Justice every single year.
So those who don't fill out the survey, then what?
Those who don't fill it out, I mean, then they just don't fill it out. Like the DOJ will ask you if you want to fill it out, and they will keep asking until they hit their quota of roughly 250,000 people.
Which means, how can you truly calculate the unreported?
Because 250,000 people is a sample size that can be extrapolated to the population of the United States.
How many people are on Earth?
Well, it's only
in the United States. Sorry, let me clarify that. How many people in the United States?
I think it's like 350 million. So a sample size of 250,000 people is more than enough to extrapolate to the population. There's like a calculator that you can go look up online, and it's an extrapolation calculator. If you look that up and put in like the number of like people that you want to accurately like get a statistic for, it'll give you the number of people that you have to survey to accurately represent that population.
All right, so Evan says, I hear what you're saying. Sorry. So Evan says, since when did surveys need every single person to be valid? You're right. It's what's the word I'm trying to say? It's like a rough estimate, right? But when you're saying 250 surveys, yes,
Jojo,
250,000.
that's what I'm saying. 250,000 surveys compared to the amount of the population of the United States.
can you
How
tell
does
me what a
that?
p-value is?
Sorry,
Can you tell me what a p-value is?
you tell me.
No, I'm asking you. Can you tell me what a p-value is?
No, that's what I'm asking you. Educate me.
Do you know if it's a statistical term or a mathematical term in general?
Dude, I'm a Marine that eats crayons, dog. You gotta explain that shit to me, bro.
Yeah, so why the fuck are you trying to make the claim that like you don't think that 250,000 could be that? If you don't know basic statistics, I don't know that you should be arguing a national organization that performs this study.
Does your friend know that term?
250. Does my friend know that term?
Yeah, Mac.
She's not the one making the argument that 250,000 people is not enough of a sample size.
That's ridiculous. That's like asking. That's like you have 1,000 people in an area and you ask like fucking 100. I mean, I get it. You group up.
If you had 1,000 people, if you had 1,000 people in an area and you asked 100 of them, that would probably be a decent sample size for that area because you've just asked 10% of the population.
Yeah, that'd be a fraction. You never actually know. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta understand that fraction that fraction I just gave you is a 10. That's like you just said. What percent?
You don't know what 100 of 1,000 is?
No, you just said 10%, right?
You don't know what 100 of 1,000 is?
My brother.
You
just said,
Jojo, you tell me.
Dude.
What percent is 100?
I can't even talk to you. Okay, let's see.
No, Jojo, what percent is 100 of 1,000?
This guy thinks he's bro. Like I'm not like pulling out with you, bro. My point is that you're comparing a 10% versus 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like 250,000 to 300 million is what she said.
Do you think that someone else put this amazingly, right? Whenever they survey, how many, just as a general animal, right? How many armadillos in the wild wear Santa hats, right? Do you think that they observe every single fucking armadillo?
No, of course not.
Or do you think that they take a number of what the projected population of that area is and go, hey, let's observe X amount of armadillos so that we have less than a 5% chance of having pulled just what we would see here, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
You don't, but it's okay.
It says it right here on the background. For a massive population of 300 million, a sample size of around 1,000 to 100 or to 1,500 is generally sufficient or a reliable survey, 95% confidence, 5% margin of error. So 250,000 people is more than enough.
Sorry, say that last part again. Say the last part again. I don't know what she meant. Regardless,
yeah. The sample size is more than enough.
Okay. Regardless, back to the quote or back to the prompt. Yes, women should cover up.
Jojo, what is 200 of 1,000? What percentage?
Back to the prompt. Back to the prompt. Women should cover up.
I need you to answer this, Jojo.
And I need you to get back to the prompt.
Bro, Jojo, why should women cover up if you're in your profile picture uncovered?
Exactly. And I got the attention I wanted, which actually I'm about to take that down. Thank you for mentioning that point. I'm not afraid to admit that though. Like I would take that down.
Okay, but why would a woman need to cover up? Like what?
Sorry?
Like, why?
If you don't want a certain attraction, you have to deal with reality. Like if you don't want a certain kind of like attention, you have to deal with that reality of it's life.
Or I
So
could just,
if you don't want men to sexualize you, then you have to cover up what's sexual about you and men are
or
attracted
men
to.
could just like leave us alone. Like, I don't know why that's so hard.
That's unrealistic reality, man. That's
Not
not
if we
realistic at all.
taught our young boys to just leave women alone whenever. If we taught young boys to still value women regardless of what they're wearing, then they would not
That's
treat us like
true.
sexual objects.
That's true, but guess what? Even I was raised like that. But guess what? Then you have women that actually there's women that dress the same as those who want to feel sexy or whatever you call it, and those women that dress the same as you are actual sluts or whatever you call them. So we end up sleeping with them, and now we assume that's for the rest of the women that dress like that. That's why that standard is set. So if you're covered up
I don't
and
think
you
there's
show a
anything
decent,
wrong with being a slut.
okay, then that's another topic then. Oh, how you define a slut? Well, I'm sorry. You say you don't find nothing wrong with that?
No, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with it. Not inherently, no.
Okay, I'm gonna try to stick on the problem because I know that's a whole side conversation, and I get that. Okay, and I respect your opinion about that. But when you have you ever heard somebody say like get treated like a slut? Like we have the intentions of sleeping with you. If you're a slut, and if you're dressing like
Why would
if
you
consider yourself sorry.
why would you not want to marry somebody who has sexual experience? Why would you want to marry somebody who has zero sexual experience? It seems like ownership to me.
You got a point, but how do we know when that sexual experience stop? How do what I'm saying? Like we got say once again, I make this example again. Say you dress like you have everything out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got another girl that does, but you are very pure. You're a pure woman. You just want to feel good in your body. You want to feel very sexy in your body. But the other woman tends to sleep with a numerous amount of men. Well, if I have slept with that woman and then I meet you the next day, I'm going to assume that you are the same way.
Okay, so
If we
then
go
you
by,
get consent to either sleep with me or you don't get consent to sleep with me. Like what?
and then that's where we agree at. And now that's where we agree at because once you don't give consent, then you know what I'm saying. But we're talking about covering ourselves, which you lead that you grab that attention. Now, once you have that attention, you have the right to decline it. And if they go past that, then they're breaking the law. We agree on that.
Hold on. Real quick. Jojo, I just want to be very clear. Is the whole premise of your argument that any sexual attention from a man is inherently dangerous and
No.
women should avoid it?
Wait. Sorry.
I said, is the entire premise of your argument based on the idea that sexual attention from a man is inherently dangerous and therefore women should avoid it?
Not always, but yes, kind of.
But just frequently enough that yes.
When you dress a certain way, yes. If you're dressing modestly, then again, that varies. There's never. I don't have a yes or no answer for that because that varies.
Hold on. Statistically, that's not how grape happens.
Okay, how does it happen statistically?
Largely by family members.
Yeah, and also people who are
What does that have to do with covering up?
nothing.
Exactly, Jojo.
Yeah, you're bringing up family members and close people. I've seen it happen in families. I've definitely seen it happen. Once again, like I said, I'm a Marine, dude. I've seen cases where SA happens, especially in families. This is not new to me, but I'm saying we're talking about covering up.
Yeah, what he's saying is that you're more likely to be sexually assaulted in the safety of your own home than you are going out to a bar dressed skimpily and meeting the wrong person.
Which is a great point. That's a solid argument. But I'm saying that, in general, I'm saying covering up out in public. I get that. And like I said, I agree with you. I agree. Like, I'm totally on your side about this. That's the thing about it. But what I'm saying, I feel like I said, it shouldn't be forced. Like, that's why I asked you in the beginning, I said, who's forcing you? Because I feel like it's a good suggestion to cover up. You know what I'm saying? Because unfortunately, women just have to deal with that reality until men fix it. And it doesn't seem like it's going to fix anytime soon. But men have a tendency, or certain men, have a tendency, or percent of men have a tendency of, lustful ways. So, and and bad intentions, like very, very bad intentions. I'm not trying to say any words, but you know what I'm saying. So to protect yourself, I'd say cover up in a certain way. And that doesn't mean it's all going to stop. Just because we take all guns from America or take everybody's guns out of America, that don't mean crime is going to stop or murders aren't going to, going to stop. It's that it puts a limit or reduces it just a little. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or am I
There's
making
no
it out?
statistical reduction in skimpy clothing causing you to be less likely to be sexually assaulted. It's actually the other way around. Most serial predators have admitted to like what their preference was in choosing a victim, and what they've said before is that they chose victims who first of all had their hair in an easy to grab hairstyle. So whether that be down or in a ponytail, most serial rapists have said before that a ponytail was easy to grab, so you could like grab the woman from behind and pull her to where you're wanting to go assault her. So that's number one. Number two, baggy clothing is easier to grab rather than something that is skin tight. So a lot of serial rapists have talked about how they would look for somebody who is wearing baggy clothing. They also talked about how they looked at demeanors. They looked at a woman who was lacking confidence, who looked very reserved, who looked very like timid, who was looking at her phone, who wasn't paying attention to her surroundings, etc. That's what they look for. They didn't look for a woman walking down the streets in heels and skimpy clothing looking confident, right? Because that would intimidate a predator. So there are statistical things that pieces of clothing that you could wear that are going to make you more likely to be assaulted, and it's baggy clothing because it's easier to grab.
Okay.
And it has more
can
to
I
do with
ask,
your demeanor than it does anything else, to be honest.
can I ask, like I said, I'm very open minded. I'm willing to like learn and change my mindset. What is the source of this so I can look this up? I can on my other phone. But do you have a source or do you have a website for this or
If you look up on Google, I don't have the specific website, but if you look it up on Google, if you look up what predator or what sexual predators look for, you can use like the rape, you could say like what rapists look for in a victim. It'll come up. It'll be like one of the first websites, and it'll talk about the baggy clothing, the ponytails and the demeanor. And it's like interviews with actual people who've serially raped women.
so do you think hold on, I'm trying to look through my other phone. I'm actually driving right now. Do you think that it's so based off what you said, do you think that you're more bound to what's a better word? I don't want to keep saying like rape or anything, but you know, are you more bound to be a victim with tighter clothes or looser clothes? Based on off your opinion solely. Or yeah, with your opinion, you know, with the interviews and all that, you know what I'm saying? What do you think?
Based off of my opinion, looser clothing, because again, you have to factor in the fact that people are getting assaulted in their homes by their family members and by their husbands and boyfriends who they trusted, by trusted loved ones, right? And typically, like stories from those women, they're not wearing anything skimpy. It was a crime of opportunity more than anything. And it was more so a wrong place, wrong time. And you would never blame, like, for example, what just happened at Brown University. You would never blame a student who you would never say, well, why were they in school today? You would never say that. It's a wrong place, wrong time crime, because think about it like this, Jojo. If there's a house party and there is one rapist in that house party, there is more than likely going to be an assault. But if you take another house party where there are no rapists, there's going to be no assaults. And so in that house party where there is one rapist, even if he can't get to, let's say your friend, let's say you have a female friend, Jojo, who's in that party. Let's say that she is on top of it. She's wearing her baggy clothing. She's on top of it. She's not drunk. She's sober. She's the DD, right? She might not get assaulted, but that rapist is going to look for somebody who looks like they can be taken advantage of, and that's not stopping rape. Do you get what I mean? Like, that's not stopping anything, it's putting it onto another woman.
Well, okay, so
And I think that we should strive to end all rape, and that's why I don't talk about what women are doing, because think about it like that. If it's not your friend, it'll be somebody else, and that's still just as bad.
right. Okay. Well, in those cases, all right. So I've had a couple people, right, that I've known that I've been in fights because of this reason. I had to save a few people actually. But I'll say this. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm trying to take this language. I'm saying this because I've heard what men had to say. Now this is like I said, this is from what I've seen, you know what I'm saying, not from statistics or whatever, but this is from my stuff. I've heard men say, oh damn, you know what I'm saying? Because first of all, I want to say that they've looked at women that's covered up and not covered up. and the woman that's not covered up, they always say some weird ass joke, like something that's way out of proportion, and I have to like sit them the fuck down. I'm like, yo, chill the fuck out. We don't make jokes like that. And I had to stop being cool with certain people like that because that's not how we talk. That's not how I talk. But it's usually, and majority of the time, it's usually towards those who are dressed in a certain way, like they have their, cleavage showing or whatnot. I'm gonna put this gas in my car.
Right. And that's because like typically, so when you think about it like this, Jojo, people who dress what others would consider inappropriate or slutty, they men don't respect those women as much as they respect women who are considered modest, and that's because of purity culture, and like we talked about, you're going to be treated different. Men are going to treat you differently, and that's why I believe that we should raise the next generation of boys to grow into men who respect all women regardless of what they're wearing, because at the end of the day, like, to create life, you have to get fully naked to do that, or at least your bottom half. So the fact that we don't, like, we should be respecting a woman's body regardless of what she's wearing, because again, like, to create life, you have to get fully naked to do that. So like the fact that it's okay and when you're trying to have a baby, right? Or just having like fun with your wife or husband, right? Like it's okay in that scenario, but it's not okay to respect a woman who's walking out and about and her cleavage is showing. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. You made a really good point. I'm going back to where you said that if they went to a night party or whatever, and one has baggy, one doesn't. You were speaking on a certain kind of, say, essay because they're more easier, so you can grab them by whatever. But there's also like peer pressure. There's all like a sort of pressuring of, it's just one time, just, what I'm saying, oh, just a tip or
That's
whatever people say, to where it still counts as, which I'm saying, I only say that because I say that to more tight wearing, women, because once again, men are more attracted to that. So, like, I'm just speaking solely off of attraction, and which they, peer pressure. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yes. So coercion is a form of sexual violence, and it is illegal to coerce somebody into sex. And like, yeah, sure, you could make the argument that whenever it comes to coercion of somebody at a house party, then yeah, they might be like looking for somebody who maybe they've been chatting up because they find them attractive based off of what like they look like. But I wouldn't say that that's the majority of sexual assault that happens at house parties. The majority of sexual assault that happens at parties is typically there's alcohol involved, and so the victim physically cannot say no because of how drunk they are. And in some men's minds, for some godforsaken reason, they believe that if you don't say no, it's a yes, or you know what I mean? And sometimes they'll even ignore the no, and they don't care, and they'll just ignore it, and they don't care. And so that's more likely to happen. Like coercion more so happens in relationships.
Wait, the comment talking about he just admitted to coercing women. I just who me? I hope you're not talking about me. And the other one said males are easily pressured. We're not pressured. It's just men are easy in general. I'm just gonna be a beam. Men are easy in general.
For example, like coercion is more likely to happen in a relationship. So that's the most likely scenario that you'll see coercion. And then whenever it comes to like, there are different types of like sexual assault that will happen in different scenarios. So like a frat party, it's going to be alcohol driven, and it's going to be the people who are trying to do that are going to use alcohol to facilitate that. And if it's a relationship, it's going to be coercive. If it's a family member, it's usually somebody who's underage and cannot give consent at all. So it's very dependent on the situation that you're in.
Okay, sorry, you cut out for a bit. I don't know. There's no response. There it goes. All right, well, I'm gonna let somebody else take the spotlight. Thank you for having me up here, though.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, he wasn't that bad to talk to compared to the other people we've talked to today, so But I am gonna go ahead and get off here because I want to lay in my bed and scroll. So, yeah. Wait. Yeah. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna go scroll on my phone and, I don't know. Probably go make some food at some point, but yeah. Anyways, follow to see more lives in the future. And yeah, everybody have a good night. And for everyone who has to work tomorrow, rip. Sorry about that. I don't. So L